So I have Mike Fitzmaurice over here with WebCon, and thank you so much, Mike, for taking our time for this quick interview session. And so if you can go ahead and tell me a little bit about, let's start with some of the speaking sessions that you've been talking about today.
Oh, thanks, I appreciate it. I've been doing sessions at EduCons for some time, and one thing that seems to go over quite well is talking about not so much how to use any one tool, but how to think as you use whichever tool set you're committed to. So for example, if it's a business process solution, put the process first. Your process will tell you what data you need, and the two of them together will tell you what your user interface should look like. Think about what you're going to do before you obsess over how to do it. Assuming that it's going to change constantly. Mm-hmm. There are design principles that work especially well when you're building a solution that is business process focused in mind. Data-centric solutions require a different way of thinking. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of good thinking that's been gone into doing that, but I see a lot of people try to solve business process problems with data-centric solutions, and it's not the same thing. So the session I did yesterday, for example, was when you should use automation tools, when that should be API-based automation versus robotic process automation, versus when it's not about automating activity, but really interacting with people, and when an umbrella business process that governs the whole thing becomes important. And how if you're expecting one tool, I don't care who makes it, to do all of this, you're nuts. Mm-hmm. You need a repertoire of tools that fit the right task. I spent a lot of time on that.
Definitely, and that makes perfect sense because, these days with the whole low-code revolution going on, everybody's a developer.
Everyone is a developer, this is true, but not everyone is a productive developer.
There you go.
So, as it turns out, a couple of things that matter a lot. First of all, low code's for everybody. It's not just for citizen developers bypassing IT. Low code's a wonderful tool for IT. As a matter of fact, low code in the hands of talented professionals can get an amazing amount of stuff done. What hasn't tended to work is people dabbling in a low code solution that they expect to scale beyond a couple of people. Because all those things, how can I best put this, about development is only about 10% of delivery. And that extra 90%, very few citizen developers want to put in the work to do that. Very few of them should, because they've got day jobs. So if you're building a solution to scratch a niche or solve a hyper-local problem, that's wonderful. But if you expect it to scale, you're going to need to collaborate rather than circumvent technical professionals, IT consultants, whoever that is.
I think that you have a solid point over here. Now, at AQL, we do low code with not just Microsoft technologies like Power Platform, but even there's low code with ServiceNow, there's Ampium, there's Salesforce, there's SAP. Every single platform now have their own low code solution. And with all of these low code comes this whole bunch of developers, which can be business users and which can be, real developers as well. And this brings in a real challenge. So I see the value that you're saying. There's got to be certain best practices. Hey, if you're developing your solution using a low code tool, is it scalable? Or after you have spent 3 months doing development, do we have to go ahead and spend another 6 months in scaling it and managing it, whereas something like this could have been done doing development using .NET or JavaScript in 2 months, and maintaining could have been a lot more easier. So please shed some light on that.
Well, this is where companies like AQL and WebCon come in very, very handy, because unlike traditional development where fear of vendor lock-in was an issue and the wherewithal to develop something yourself was very much possible. You're writing it with code. I mean, you're probably going to depend on a compiler, but that's about it. But now if you're doing low-code work, your vendor matters. You have to choose your vendor carefully and trust them. And in fact, work within the confines of the environment they give you, because if you try to fight it or reshape it to your own whim, you're going to get a lot less done. Mm-hmm. So choose your tools carefully, double down them, know them well, and know how to use them, and you can reap real benefits. But look, as much as low-code development is development, it is development, but you still You have to give up a couple of things like hyper customization in order to get hyper productivity, but you will get it.
Definitely. As I always say, no two requirements are the same, no two business processes are the same, no two industries are the same, and there's no cookie cutter solution. I'm not being pessimistic over here, but you got to make sure that you hire the right vendor, and not even the vendor. It doesn't have to be a vendor, just the right consultant to go ahead and do the right implementation. Do you agree with me, Mike?
I agree. You need the right consultant. You need the right kind of thinking, but the tools do matter. It not all tools are created alike. I'm fond of tools that, like for example, all right, for the moment, just to talk a little bit about WebCon, if you design we model workflows in stages. So we move from this stage to that stage to that stage. Our workflows do not look like flowcharts, they look like business diagrams. But when you enter a stage and exit a stage, that's a loggable event. You get auditing for free. We'll figure out who's supposed to be responsible during that stage, and we'll automatically take care of security. In other words, we're thinking like a business process management, but we'll do things for you automatically so that your application doesn't have to do it.
Awesome.
That comes in really, really handy, but you have to let us do that for you. If you do it all yourself, you can do it, but you're not going to have a great time.
Right. That's the power of local developers. So, Mike, where's home?
Home for me is Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking out your time. Have a great day.